In this image, you can see a map of Mexico and the west coast of Mexico, which this presentation will be focusing on. Here you can see a zoomed in image of the west coast of Mexico. The coastline takes up about 6,500 kilometers. This is an image of the continental shelf of Mexico. And as you can see in the red zones, this is where the continental shelf extends to. Now, the continental shelf does not extend too far out from the exposed land like it does in some parts of North America. In this next set of images, you can see the geographic area of the coastline and how it is made up of different bays and inlets. And in these next pictures, you'll be able to see how there are sea caves and sea arches that have formed due to erosion on the coast. In these pictures, you can also see sea stacks that have formed. Now, sea stack forms when a sea arch erodes so much that it collapses and only the outmost part of the arch is still visible above the sea line. The climate of the west coast of Mexico varies. At the very most northern part of the west coast, you can see that it's a Mediterranean climate, and then farther down you go, it's more of an arid desert, and farther south you get into somewhat of a tropical wet and dry climate that has seasonal wet and dry variants. This next image is from my peer-reviewed article that studied coastal current sediment transport and temperature variations. In this image, you can see the micro currents that are on the west coast of Mexico. This next image is also from my peer-reviewed article, and it shows the larger, more macro currents that are off the coast. This next image shows the different winds that are prevailing in the coastal areas of Mexico. The west coast of Mexico is very well known for their surfing locations, and there are multiple websites that are geared towards advertising to surfers for these well-known surfing locations. And as you can see on this next chart, there are different times of the year where the waves are higher. So as you get towards the winter months, the waves do reach their optimum peak. Between August and October, the West Coast has experienced tropical storms and hurricanes. These can be quite damaging both to the natural environments and financially to the settlements that border the coastline. So the west coast of Mexico has a meso-tidal range towards the north, and then it transitions into a micro-tidal range towards the south of Mexico. This part of the coast experiences semi-diurnal tides, which means it has 2 high tides and 2 low tides every 24 hours. This is a tidal chart for Acapulco, which is a well-known beach and resort location on the west coast. The longshore current that runs from the United States down the west coast of Mexico is a cold current, which means that it is shallow but wide. Sediment transport is caused by waves approaching shores at angles and then receding in a more linear fashion, which causes the sediment and sand to be slowly moved down a coastline. In Mexico on the west coast, it's approximately 726 meters squared a day of sediment that is transported along the shore. In yards, this would be 793.96 yards squared a day. This is a map of all the coral reefs located in the world. And as you can see, there are several that are located on the west coast of Mexico, even though the waters are cooler and coral typically prefer warmer temperatures. There are some species of coral that thrive in colder waters, such as those found off the coast of Mexico. The 3 types of coral reefs can be divided into 3 communities on the west coast. You have the Gulf of California corals, the Reviligado archipelago corals, and the tropical Mexican Pacific corals. So these different communities make up different segments on the coastal area, and each community has different types of structures and different flora and fauna that exist within those communities. There are 6 major rivers that have mouths that empty out into the west coast of Mexico. And you can see their various locations on this map. The area that I chose to focus in on is the beach of Acapulco. Sea turtles are some of the animals that you would see at Acapulco. The sea turtles will lay their eggs on the sandy beaches, and the babies will eventually hatch and make their way down to the water. And it is a popular tourist attraction to come down during hatching season and see the baby sea turtles make their way down to the beach. Acapulco is also known for its sport fishing options, so people from all over the world will come to fish for swordfish and sailfish and a variety of carps and tunas. The desert rose is a very common flower found in the beach area, and it is also a very well-known symbol of the region. One would also be able to find a variety of cacti, multiple colors, as well as palm trees in the Acapulco area as types of flora. Acapulco is a very well-known tourist location that has millions of visitors every year. There are multiple large hotels and resorts, as well as multiple tourist beaches that attract people from all over the world. Now, while this is a very beautiful beach, it has had pollution issues due to the amount of tourism and the lack of proper regulations and infrastructure to handle the large population of people that come in during vacation season. So the water has had pollution issues, as well as the beaches having trash and other types of pollution in recent years. Thank you for watching my video about the west coast of Mexico and about the beaches of Acapulco. Hope you enjoyed it.